Spell Sports. I'm your host, as always, Preston Bailey. We got a great topic today. Josh Allen and the Bills Mafia. Here we go. Everybody's excited about Josh Allen. We've had some wild videos. Dominic Foxworth has weighed in his opinion on Josh Allen.
Not a fan.
He's not a fan of Josh Allen. He's also not a fan of America. I'm talking about Foxworth. And he's also not a fan of dogs. Now, I'm not going to call on the FBI to investigate Foxworth for killing dogs, but I do think it's interesting that he hates dogs. I really don't know why it's one thing he hates America. I believe he's a U.S. citizen, even though he was born in the United Kingdom. That's a whole separate issue. But you know what? I think someone needs to defend the Buffalo Bills. I know you as a Patriots fan, just the Bills fans watching this are probably disliking the video. But
well, you saw what Bills fans did to Patriots fans last week, right?
Why don't you tell me?
They bought a gigantic billboard that's a block from Gillette Stadium and said, the Buffalo Bills now own the division.
Well, I told you that before the season. They're right.
Yes, and I agreed with you.
You kind of agreed with me. You kind of agreed, but
I was never believing in this Patriots team. I thought they sucked from the jump.
There was still a part of you, and I know you made a bet. So you made a bet. You said it with your chest. You made your bet. I'm not going to tell the people how much money you made betting against your own team, but that's a whole separate issue there. That just means you listen to me. I've helped you make some money there. But the point is,
Tom Brady.
The point, well, yeah, it's Tom Brady's the juice. It's like everybody was talking about last year. Like last year, the over/under was 6 games. The Bucs won 7. I took the over. One of my friends wants to claim that somehow that's a tie in his bizarro world, and all Jameis had to do was win one of the last 2 games, win 8, and there would have been no, he's arguing half of a point. Anyways, this is about the Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills fans are arguably the best fans in all of sports. I love their passion. I love their energy.
Loyal.
They're fiercely loyal because before these last 2 years, I know they had a couple seasons recently where they won 9 or 10 games with Tyrod Taylor. But before these last 2 years, they've had a rough patch. I mean, sadly, their claim to fame were those 4 years, in the 80s and early 90s where they went to 4 in a row and they lost, and they really should have won one of those. They were so close to the Giants and so forth. They're fiercely loyal. I love the passion. And you know what? You could make a case that Josh Allen should be MVP. You could make a legitimate case. Is his stats better than Aaron Rodgers? No, but that's not the case. That's not the only factor in MVP. Look at the numbers here. He's 69.1% accuracy, phenomenal. 4,320 yards, phenomenal. Almost 8 yards a pass. 34 TDs, only 9 interceptions. Josh Allen continues to get better and better and better and better every single year. As great as a season as this is for Aaron Rodgers, this is not his best season. He's had better seasons, and he's having a great season. He's having a season for the ages. I'm just simply saying, if you look at the Packers, the Packers, they have a great defense. They have a massive running game. They've just they've added him to the weaponry. A.J. Dillon, I'm talking about with the Packers. The rookie sensation has taken over. Him and Aaron Jones. The Bills, I said this before, they've got one elite receiver in Stephon Diggs. They had Cole Beasley, who's solid, and then they got the rest of guys that are Brown, a couple of the guys that are okay and solid. They don't have an elite tight end. They don't have elite running backs. So that's why I would say Aaron Rodgers is going to win the MVP, but I'm saying right now it would not bother me if Josh Allen wins the MVP. I think there's a part of me that thinks the Buffalo Bills fans, honestly, you talk about deserving, I believe they deserve it. The Bills Mafia deserves Josh Allen, deserves all the positive, because he has came a long way.
He has, and I feel bad for Bills fans that they can't be there to watch this team this year. I mean, this is the best team they've had probably since the Jim Kelly years. No, I don't think that's I think that's a fact.
Oh, this is definitely the best team. And I think you could make an argument. Those defenses with Bruce Smith, yes, but offensively, this team is better than those teams were. Even with Thurman Thomas, even with Jim Kelly, even with Andre Reed, and all the guys that they have. Josh Allen is elite. Okay, the first year he was super, super raw. Last year was kind of his coming out party. He had ups and downs.
The progression last year was when you realize, like, this guy's because I'll just say, as a Patriots fan, obviously I see him twice a year. When the Patriots and Bills played their first game last year, I'm like, oh man, this guy's really not that good. Talking about Josh Allen. The difference in him from that first game to that second game in December was night and day. I'm like, man, he got a lot better. And this year he's been sensational. He's been absolutely sensational.
I would agree. And I feel, a very strong interest in watching Josh Allen because he was this close to being a Buccaneer quarterback. For those that don't know, he was chosen 7. The Buffalo Bills had 7, and they traded up. And I'm saying the Buffalo Bills traded up. The Bucs traded with him, which obviously now we have Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the greatest, but
it's worked out.
There's a lot of Bucs, so we're fine this year. We'll be fine next year. So we'll just have to find the next guy sometime next year for the future. But it would be nice,
Dwayne Haskins,
to have a young gunslinger, 23, 24 years old, like a Josh Allen. This guy's going to be a top 5 MVP caliber candidate for a long, long time. I would much rather have Josh Allen than Lamar Jackson. Last year, everybody was slobbering all over Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson's a great player. No one's saying that he's not, but Lamar Jackson has a very, very limited skill set. Okay, Josh Allen is every bit the athlete as Lamar Jackson. They're very comparable, okay? Yes, Lamar Jackson's a better athlete. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying Josh Allen's passing ability is super elite. Lamar Jackson's passing ability is not super elite. And Josh Allen is mobile, is a great athlete. How many touchdowns does he have? So he's got 34 touchdowns passing. I believe he
has like 8 or 9 rushing too. Correct.
Close to double-digit. Let me bring it up here.
I know Cam Newton and Kyler Murray are tied for rushing touchdowns by quarterbacks, but I think Josh Allen's right below them.
Here we go. We got it right here. 418 yards rushing, which is pretty good for rushing, especially for over 4,000 yards passing, and he's got 8 rushing touchdowns. So you're talking about a guy that's got 42 overall touchdowns, which he actually has more overall touchdowns than Aaron Rodgers. I believe Aaron Rodgers is at 40. Is that what you've got?
Yes.
So like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get this to the Bills Mafia. Let's get them to like and subscribe. Don't punish Cam for being a Patriots fan. I know. Go ahead.
Now, do you at all fear that Josh Allen could be Carson Wentz? Because I've heard this talked about on sports shows before. That
I have no fear, but no.
When he loses, for example, when Carson Wentz lost his offensive coordinator, Frank Reich, he's never been the same. When Josh Allen loses his offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll, to a head coaching job, whether it's this year or next year, do you fear he'll drop off like Carson Wentz? Because they're comparable, big, athletic guys.
They're not comparable in the sense that they're both 6'5", they're both 240-pound, big, strong, athletic guys. Right. Okay, that's where the comparable ends. Let me tell you,
they're not comparable right here.
Let me tell you what Carson Wentz doesn't have, and you know me, so you knew where I was going. Carson Wentz doesn't have a heart.
Correct.
He's the 10-man. Carson Wentz, he has no heart. I'm almost tempted to say the man's got no soul because this guy is like a savage pit viper that's due $100 million. He's due $60 million next year, and this guy's like, me. I don't care about all that. Just give me my $60 million. Screw the team. Screw winning. Screw this guy. All these guys. All I care about is the money. Okay, you know what? Let him go back to North Dakota. Give him his $60 million, send him to North Dakota, and he can go ride around the little bison, and he can go tell everybody. It's ironically we're talking about the Buffalo Bills here. Carson Wentz, no, there's no comparison. Josh Allen is elite. Josh Allen is the driving force behind this ship. That is the key. It's not because of Sean McDermott. Yes, he's a great guy. It's not because of fancy plays or gadgets or this and that and the other. Carson Wentz had 13 great games because of gadgets and a great team. Josh Allen went to the playoffs last year. He was close to winning last year. Josh Allen's going to get a playoff win this year. Cal Hurd and Nick Wright have a huge bet, and I love it. I got to be honest. Cal Hurd was right because a few weeks ago he said the Bills are the best team, and I'll tell you right now, as of right now, they are better. If they can get their defense shored up, and no, steamrolling the Patriots means nothing. Okay, it means absolutely nothing. It meant something last year and 20 years before that. It means nothing. The Patriots are a 6-win team. Okay, you are what your record says. You can shine it up. Oh, they have Bill Belichick and they've got Josh McDaniels and they do a lot of gadget plays. No, the Bills are the team to beat in the AFC. It's them and the Chiefs. And yes, if I was a Bills fan, I would feel confident knowing the Buffalo Bills can go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs. If you want to have a 45-40 shootout, the Bills can win that game. They absolutely can. And if you saw last game, I don't know if you have it offhand how many rushing yards the Bills had, but their guys look pretty good. Moss and Singletary, they are not elite, but they are good enough. And if they can continue to protect Josh Allen, this guy is on the rocket ship. This guy, nobody knew who this guy was coming out. He was out of Wyoming. He was not accurate. This is a guy that has gotten better because of hard work and because of coaching. So absolutely, like and subscribe to the channel. Let's see if we can get this out. Bills, the Buffalo Bills Mafia, Josh Allen for MVP. I'd love to see it. Thanks again.